So how do we deliberately build empowering emotions? How can we take charge of our emotional well-being and then have more influence over the feelings we feel on a day-to-day basis? Well, let's take a look in this video, shall we? Hi, I'm Stephen Burns from Solutions in Mind, and today I'd like to show you how you can deliberately build empowering emotions. Now for this, if you haven't checked out the other video that I've done on the state loop, then I'd recommend you head over there, check it out, and then head back. This will make so much more sense. So I'd like to begin by asking a question, and that is, what is an empowering emotion? Well, for me, an empowering emotion is one that supports us. It's one that makes us more resourceful, one that opens us up to new opportunities and new potentials. And of course, we have names, we have labels to emotional states like these. For example, things like confidence, connection, love, inner peace, harmony, power, strength, the list goes on and on. And as a human being, we need emotions like these in order to get by. And it's often when we think we don't have them, that's when we start to struggle. So it can be immensely useful to deliberately spend some time each day, really building these emotions by design. So of course, the magical question is, how do you do that? Well, I'd recommend you use the state loop. And this is where you deliberately use your physiology, your imagination, you act as if, to then start to make an impact on your neurology. So one way that I would recommend that you use the state loop is to start off at the label. So this is where you ask yourself, what emotion do I want to experience? And the beauty of this is you get to choose. So what emotion would make the biggest difference to you? Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's self-belief, maybe it's safety, security, maybe it's relaxation, inner harmony, or something else. So then once you have the label, once you have the emotional state that you would like to build deliberately, you then move on to your two paths, physiology and imagination. So you can start off with physiology. Say, for example, you're using confidence as the emotional state you want to build. How would confidence look in terms of a physiology? Would you stand tall? Would you use your facial expression in a specific way? Maybe you'd breathe differently. Perhaps you'd move differently and interact with people in a very, very different way. So you want to just have a play about with that, you want to experiment. And then you want to start to deliberately use your imagination. So for this, the classic way is to think back to a time in your past where you've experienced that emotion. So if it's something like confidence, then you go back to a time in your past where you really have felt those feelings of confidence. It doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be where you saved the planet or, made $1 million. It can be something simple. It could even be when you were confident walking your dog. I don't know. Just pick anything that's meaningful to you. And you then go back into it and you start to think about it until it starts to affect you. Then what you want to do is you want to start to ramp it up. And this is where you move on to the as if space. This is where you act as if. You don't want to just use your physiology and your imagination in some kind of half-arsed way. You don't want to go, okay, Steve told me to stand confident, so I'm doing this. It's not really going to work. You want to do it intensely. You want to act as if this is 100% your reality. So if you like, when you're using your physiology for, say, confidence, feel free to parade around about your living room. You're best to close the blinds, by the way. You don't want your neighbours talking about you. But really get into it, get it into the muscle, and spend a reasonable portion of time doing it. And also when you're deliberately using your imagination, you want to step into that memory and relive it as if it's happening right now. So see through your own eyes, hear through your own ears, and really pretend that this is happening right now. So then once you do that, you spend a portion of time playing about with these two paths, you will then start to experience a shift in your neurology. Maybe it's a tingle in your stomach, maybe it's a glow across your chest, maybe it's a lightness, maybe it's a warmth. It really will depend on you, and it'll depend on what you're doing inside your mind and with your physiology. Then you just want to take some notes, you want to reflect on it, because the more that you know about this particular emotional state, then the easier and quicker it will be to replicate it in the future. So that is how to use the state loop to deliberately build and create these empowering emotions. Ones that support us, ones that help us, ones that open us up to more potentials and more opportunities. Now, by the way, if you'd like to have a more intense experience of this, if you look in the description, you'll see a link that will take you to an audio download. Now, this is where I have recorded the full process of using the state loop. Sometimes it's difficult to do on your own when you're giving yourself instructions. So if you head over, you can download that audio and I will take you through the entire process. It's completely free. Also, this is only one part of a larger training program called the NLP Personal Transformation Training Course. If you want to check out the program, head over to the Solutions in Mind site. If you're not on it already, I'm sure you'll find it a really interesting program. So once again, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.